I find myself saying our apparel, even though that was your baby, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, all right, am I taking too much in this space, you know?
And I'm thinking, I wish you would take some more.
Okay, well, see,
right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
why these conversations.
Like, I don't want to step on your toes. Like, I know this is your thing.
Yeah. And I'm normally the one stepping on toes. So I am more intentional about, like I said earlier, giving you your space, letting it develop.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me to take a picture, I'll take a picture.
Thank you.
I'm not going to tell you how to take the picture, but
I would like some guidance in that. That's another thing.
There you go.
That's another thing we can do.
You sickness and health, riches and broke. Yeah, healthy marriage is dope. Let's work in our dreams, let's heal through our growth. Yeah, healthy marriage is dope.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Healthy Marriage is Dope podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things relationships, specifically our marriage relationship. And we typically have some really good conversations. So we're glad you guys decided to join us today. How are you, husband?
Fantastic.
I'm one of your hosts, Keisha, and this is our other host.
I'm Derek.
And that's my husband, y'all. I already said that. I already said that.
Just go with it.
Just keep going. Okay, that's great. So carry on, babe.
Huh?
Your turn.
My turn?
Yes.
Okay.
That was it. That's all I got.
All right. So as my wife, I'm her husband. My wife mentioned This is a podcast where we kind of take you through some of our experiences. Some are highs, some are lows, some are just fun topics to talk about. Some are some story time things that we'll share with you to keep it a little bit light. We normally start off with a little bit of small talk, and we're trying to get it down to a fine science. So small talk is going to be limited tonight.
Okay.
What do you got to talk about?
Okay, so I wanted to, y'all, I have found these really good shows on a couple of our streaming apps that everybody's on. So on Amazon Prime, I'm addicted to Solos. Have y'all seen that? It has like Morgan Freeman, Anne Hathaway, Nicole Beharie, Helen Mirren, like some of the top actors of our time. And it's like each episode is maybe 20 to 30 minutes, but it's so intense and they all make you think. Love that. Also, I watched Passing and I feel like I have to watch it again, but it was really good. It's in black and white. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It's on Netflix. And the last thing, I was trying to get husband to get all excited, but The Harder They Fall. Listen.
It was good. No, it was a great movie, the part that I saw.
He fell right on sleep, y'all.
No. I didn't fall asleep.
No, sir. You fell asleep. We're slain in the spirit. No.
I looked away for a second, and then when I looked back, you had some black and white movie on.
Yes, that was Passing. I was halfway through Passing by the time he woke up.
I had no idea what it was. So the thing about me is I'm gonna fall asleep.
There's one thing you're gonna do.
The other thing I'm gonna do is fall asleep. Right. So I cannot start watching anything longer than 30 to 45 minutes after 9 p.m. If I'm in the bed, and we were in the bed, we had date night.
We had date night.
Yeah. So we had date night. We went to this Indian restaurant. It was really good.
It was delicious.
We were 2 or 4 people.
Yes.
As far as customers and patrons of the restaurant, which was cool.
Because we came like an hour before closing.
Yeah. And we got our stuff really, really quick.
Yes.
But it was really good. We got out on time for the most part.
Right.
And we were home by 9:30.
Ciao. But why? And we stopped to get some Cheesecake Factory in between, and we still got home early.
Yeah. It was a great night in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a great night. Yeah. But then let me tell y'all how this joker woke up talking about how you gonna invite me to watch a movie and then change the movie? You was asleep. I already watched it. I was trying to share my life with you. I was trying to share something with you.
And I received it.
You was asleep.
What I'm saying was it was beyond my window of focus in the evening.
The soundtrack was popping. The action was popping. How you fall asleep? You was
So one thing about me is I'm gonna fall asleep, and the other thing is if it's after 9:30 and I'm in the bed, I'm gonna fall asleep. But it was cool. It was a good date night. It was actually on the schedule. So hint, if you need some encouragement or you need a a recommendation for how to date, put it in your calendar. That's how it works for me. So we did that and came home, tried to watch some movies, but that's not what this episode is about.
Listen, okay, bro.
But Keisha watches a lot of. Keisha gets into series and different movies and stuff like that, and I used to be like that, but now I definitely don't. What is it called?
Binge?
Appointment watch.
Oh.
Right. Watch something at the time that it airs.
Oh, never.
Everything is streaming now.
And also, if I am watching something, I need all of the episodes for every last season to be available for me to watch. Like, I don't want to have to wait for the next one to come.
Yeah, I feel you on
Anyway,
that.
Ain't got time.
I don't like to wait. You're right. I don't like to wait for that either. I want to watch. Now, see, I can watch a series straight if it's compelling. I mean, I can go 9 hours and watch a whole series straight.
Can you, though?
If I start like 5 a.m., 5 a.m. is like
okay.
prime time.
Watching, and I'm dead to the world at that point, 5 in the morning.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been too engaged in television, even sports. I may watch half of a game, but if I'm watching something, I'm trying to figure something out. I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to watch something that's similar to the things that I want to produce or that inspire me. So I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching interviews, trying to get better, trying to hone in my skills with that. And there were a couple big interviews this week. Kanye, who's now Ye.
You fell asleep during that one too, bro.
Well, it was 2 hours. It was 2 hours, and that was part one. Part two, I haven't gotten all the way through.
You don't need to see it.
But just the art of it, I like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Listen.
For the person that didn't watch it, how you tell me?
I had no choice because I couldn't find a remote. I don't know if you was laying on it or what, but I had to watch it because it was on. Child, the confusion that I was feeling as I was watching it.
Yeah, but you tapped in from not being engaged at all to try to watch something and figure it out. So,
I was just like,
what are you guys watching? Do you guys watch anything together? Do you guys share a common series or type of movie? Was that a genre?
Yeah.
That you like?
We used to have Prison Break, Scandal.
Yeah.
Was that the only two?
I don't think we've had one
since Scandal.
Well, we would literally be beefing if one of us got ahead on the schedule, which always happens.
Right.
So.
Scandal and Prison Break. Mm-hmm. Wait, did you say what? Me?
I would get ahead on Prison Break.
Yeah, because you be falling asleep.
One thing about me is I'm falling asleep. We got to watch it at the opportune time. Listen. So if that doesn't happen. It's pretty much a wrap.
Agreed.
Comment down below. Let us know what you guys are watching. If it's a thing, if that's something that helps you out, if that's something you have in common, because we just want to know. Yeah. So, small talk done?
Small talk
Y'all
done.
Small talked out?
I'm all small talked out.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn now.
All right. So, this week, I wanted to talk about being partners in business with your spouse or your
partner.
You're partners with your partner in business. What is it like to go into a business venture? And Keisha threw something very interesting at me when I brought up the topic. She said, so basically work together. And I was like, nah, not just work together. Like you're working for the same company that you don't own, but actually building something together, starting a business with your family. It may bear your family name. But we've started that a few times. I think this is the time that we're the most serious about it and on the same page. But I wanted to talk through what is that like for us. Okay. And we haven't had that discussion, which is typically the case for the topics that we do on the show. So let's have that discussion now. So kind of level set,
kind of what now? Level set?
Yeah, level set.
Oh, yeah. Like concrete level set?
To set the expectation and give background, give context. We have a business. We have an LLC, Johns & Co. LLC. Under that business, we have a few different projects. We have Keisha's jewelry design business. Keisha also has a luxury event styling or planning?
Styling.
Styling planning.
Styling.
Styling planning. Style and business
Ugh,
started already.
see?
Yeah,
This
we also
you.
can't talk. But you probably watched the episode before, and if you haven't, watch another episode after this one. I'm trying to get me right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Event style and business. This podcast is a part of the business. We also apparel. Yeah. So Johns and Co. apparel, healthy marriages, dope stuff, things that you see us wear all the time. That is another area of focus. I shouldn't say area of focus, but another part of our business, our offering under the family business.
Our YouTube?
Yeah. I look at that as,
where do my books go? Like, is that a separate entity?
Keisha has a book. So here's the thing. And I don't claim to be the most, I'm not an expert at business, but I've done enough business the right way and the wrong way to have meaningful lessons that help us do things today. And none of our businesses really differ that much in risk today. So I'm comfortable with them being under the same entity. But as they change, one gets more traction than the other. We might want to segregate those things to just to kind of put a veil between each in terms of liability. That's a good problem to have. We don't have that problem yet. So yes, they're all under one, but yes, Keisha has a book that is
almost ready.
And hopefully it'll be published. I hope it'll be published this year.
I was hoping that I would at least have the sample by Thanksgiving. However, I'm struggling to get the format. I don't know how. I'm struggling to get the formatting right to complete it, like to fit it on the size book that it needs to be. It's frustrating.
And that was one of those learning lessons that we were stumbling our way through, was the illustration process. So to me, it looks good. I think we missed some opportunities in communication with the illustrator in the process to get it exactly how we want it. Can always go back to the illustrator. We can try to make it work with what we have, which has been the approach for the last couple of months.
A little challenging.
Yeah, but what do you, number one, what do you think about being in business with me? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the things that you enjoy about it, if any? What are some of the, I guess, some of the learning lessons that you've seen? And I'll just limit it to this last year and a half, because that's when we've really been kind of focused on it.
Okay.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Excuse me. I'll start with the good things. I feel like it is not. I don't know why I'm gonna X that from my vocabulary. I know that doing things where we have the same end goal or the same interest is positive for us. Like, it's a booster in our relationship. So like when I first brought the YouTube thing to you, like, it was kind of, but then you got really excited about it, and that made me really excited. So I feel like that type of positive energy passing back and forth between us has really been helpful with our marriage as well.
Right.
The difficult thing is the same difficult thing that happens within our marriage, and it's our communication styles.
Yeah.
And that makes it kind of difficult for me.
Yeah. So my professional life plays a lot into how I carry myself in general. And like you mentioned with the YouTube, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. We were just moving to Dubai.
Yeah.
And for me, that was your thing to keep you not occupied in a dismissive sense, but you were excited about it. You were passionate about it. So I wanted to make sure you had something while we were making that transition that you were excited about. So that was that. But I did get into it, and I started liking the videography part of it. And it gave me an excuse to buy cameras and things like that. Not that we need it. You start with what you have if you're thinking about doing YouTube. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. But I thought we were connecting on it, and we were, but I went too far. So I guess that's lesson number one. Make sure you guys are on the same page. And if it is intended to be fun, make sure it stays fun for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think the business portion of it will come if you're having fun. Like if you're doing it organically, then that business part of it will come. And I think we were trying to, at some point, make it a business, like
just forcing it.
Yeah, forcing it instead of just living authentically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that we were making up things to do, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. So, and this is in the context of being a creative.
Right.
So, if you're starting a traditional business, then yes, you want to have the business foundation in place. And I'm not saying if you're creative, don't do that. But we didn't actually have the product before I was trying to force a business around a product, you know, a creative offering that we didn't really have. And that kind of burned us out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's part of why this is called Healthy Marriage is Dope, and it's on a playlist. This channel was based on our vlogging as a family, and we got the following that we have now. We don't want to lose that, but we're trying to navigate how to make it work and still serve our audience as we slowly win them back, because we were gone for a while.
Yeah.
But you're right. I agree that if it's intended to be fun, keep it fun, and then let it develop naturally.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think? The good, the bad, and the ugly?
So similar. Well, I am excited when I see you pursuing something that you're passionate about. So your book, your jewelry, like when I see you in that zone, I'm like, man, that's really cool. And I've learned to support as you need me to support. Struggle for me. Leadership.
You want to be the program.
If this isn't right, let's come in, let's fix it. Let's put a system in place. Let's do this, let's do that. But again, I was taking the joy out of it. So I think I've learned to respect your boundaries in that regard.
Thank you.
And make sure that you have space to create and kind of bring it along at your pace.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And bring it back to when we started doing YouTube, seeing like the, not acknowledgement, but the visualization, like the reality of, oh man, this is what I really want to do. That's kind of been exciting for me too, for you.
Do you think that you're working in your purpose at this point? Or is it just things that you're passionate about?
I think I'm getting there, closer and closer to working in my purpose. I'm trying to not get away from me only being a mom, but that's like been my main situationship for my whole adult life, basically. So trying to figure out that what else am I here for kind of thing is where I am right now, y'all. And I like to do all the things. So, yeah.
So one other positive for me that has come from it is that I know I'm truly working in my purpose, at least as it relates to
your Dear Son.
Yeah, the Dear Son podcast. It is about me revealing, healing, and helping, right? And those are the three pillars, the foundational pillars of what that platform is about, what that community is about, is to reveal things to yourself, work through them, figure out how to work through them. That's the healing part. And then sharing that message with others to help them avoid those challenges as possible. But if they are facing similar challenges, try to give them some inspiration, some hope, some help to get them out of it. And because my family is watching, that's the pressure I like. Like I'm used to the pressure of corporate, have this, do this, know this, always be on point. But outside of that, it's kind of empty, right? There's the satisfaction of completing something, others acknowledging that you completed it. But in my home, I am a leader.
Right.
to people that mean the most to me.
Mm-hmm.
So being held accountable, not that you guys do it verbally, but just my accountability as being the leader of this family, trying to demonstrate how to do something, how to identify your passion, identify your purpose, and how to take steps to pursue it and do it successfully. That is really what motivates me.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there is an unrealistic pressure on finding your purpose early in life? You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, figure out your purpose, figure out your purpose, figure out your purpose. It's like, maybe the Lord doesn't want to reveal to me my purpose right now. You know what I mean? Maybe the journey is my purpose for some people. You know, do you feel like there's a pressure to?
I don't. I wouldn't put it past. Well, nothing to put it past. I think that exists. Did I experience it? Not so much. The pressure was to follow a traditional path. Graduate from high school, go to college, get a job, get married, provide for your family and work, which is noble and all. And that is what was known at the time. But I was always felt like I could do anything, which led to me always trying to figure stuff out. And that satisfaction is limited in a traditional job, at least the jobs that I've had. So it was I always spent time, like even for the most part of our marriage, there's been consistent phases where I'm pursuing something that keeps me up at night, right? I got to figure it out. I got to do this thing. There's something that I saw that I think I can duplicate. Even if it's not taking it to market as a business, that part always was a driving force for me. But I never really focused on what my purpose was. Okay. So it was easy to be passionate about things for a spurt. Then I figured out, then I'm like, oh, okay, what's the next thing to figure out? But truly, like the Dear Son podcast, I have to do that. If it catches fire, it catches fire. Right. If it doesn't, this is part of the process of me growing and developing as a man, as a husband, and as a father that I think my family needs. So that's kind of the difference that I'm seeing. Okay.
So it's not about finding the next thing, because I know that has been like, okay, we've done this. Now we've done this. Now we've done this. Now we've done this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I always attributed that to, or assigned the excuse that I needed balance from my corporate life. Like corporate was so structured. I work in government contracting. There's a really big book that governs what I do. It's kind of like, it's not the same, but it's akin to understanding tax law, right? The people that understand it very well do very well, but it is intimidating and it is a lot of information, and there's not a lot of deviation from it. There's a lot of different ways that you can solve a problem or take benefits. Same in my world. There's a lot of different ways that you could find a solution, but the rules are the rules. Yeah. And doing something creative was always like, this is doing something for me. And it was a balance, but I realized that was probably doing myself a disservice, because as long as I was keeping it in that box of being a balance, I could walk away from it and then find the next thing, and never really finish anything. So yeah. What do you think you've ever identified a purpose and maybe it's changed? Or do you think that, as you said, maybe it hasn't been revealed to you in your life yet?
I believe that I have, just like with a lot of things, like your purpose may have seasons. I know that my purpose in my young adult life was to help people in the hospital. Like I felt really good about what I was doing at that time. Once I started having children, I felt like that was my purpose for that season, for that time, was to be a good mother. Like right now, I feel like my purpose is finding what my purpose is, and also showing that you can do all the things. Like I really feel like you can do everything. And I know most people say that's crazy or you shouldn't do that, like find the one thing, but I really feel like you can do all the things, and I don't want the kids to ever feel limited to the one thing.
Yeah. So there's a difference. How you feel is how you feel. I'm not challenging that by any stretch, because I see it, and you are passionate about all things. So there's focusing on one thing at a time,
right,
and still accomplishing all the things.
mm-hmm.
And then there's the advice of forget all of the rest of the things and do the one.
Right.
I get all three.
Mm-hmm.
There's case study after case study in each category or each approach where people have been successful.
Right.
So people can tell you how to be successful the way that they've been successful.
Correct.
And if they didn't do it that way, then of course that would be their advice for you not to do it.
Right.
But that's where the other thing that I'm learning is the value of mentorship. Like finding somebody that's done it the way, excuse me, or taking the approach that you want to take, not to necessarily mimic them, but they can give you the no nonsense. Here's what I did to be successful. And you can find ways to align yourself with those lessons, that approach.
Right.
Because that's the difference now for me in podcasting, right? I'm aligned with the mentor. It's a year-long program that's walking us through how to attain success the way that they did it. The person is relatable. So for me, I'm connected to it. And I actually like the podcast.
Yeah.
So
I think I keep saying I think there's something wrong with me.
Well, don't say that.
Something wrong with the way that anyway. So I am in an influencer
circle
group thing. And that has been helpful for me to kind of hone in on how I want to present all the things that I want to do. I also realized that I had to unfollow a lot of people that I admired because I was comparing myself, and it made me feel horrible.
Yep, that is consistent advice.
Yeah. Even though these people are amazing and I was like absorbing their content, I had to like, okay, girl, you're amazing.
Yeah. So for my issue with that, or the reason I had to stop looking at other people so much, wasn't so much that I was comparing myself to them, but I was starting to see a lot of parallel thought. And it's not that I thought they were copying me. I felt like it would be assumed that I'm copying them, but we literally had similar ideas. I'd be listening to something, or even with the mentorship program I'm in now, the way that I'm stepping through it and developing sometimes is what is being offered as advice to the group. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm already doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that. So I get that. What do you think ideally living in your purpose would look like? Not what your purpose is, but how do you think it'll change you? How do you think it'll impact you? What do you think would be different about you once that's clear, once that's crystal clear?
Ideally, I would be in a space where me being the crafty DIY, but doing all of that would be helping other people in some capacity, whether it be through a website or products that I'm putting out or content that I'm publishing. Something would be helpful to other moms in the same position who feel like they can't do anything but want to do everything.
Right. Do you feel like, I'll answer for me. I am getting more and more comfortable just creating conversations with random people. Because before
You did not.
I didn't really do people like in general. I don't know. Yeah. Leave it at that. I wasn't really, it wasn't that I was a people person, because I would turn it off and on. If I wasn't interested immediately, I wouldn't find something about the person to be interested in to kind of drive into a conversation. So I'm learning that now. It's becoming natural. And I think that I would like speaking. I've done it in the corporate setting, but it was more if I had to, right? And teaching really things that are part of the job. And I try to be creative in that way that I would do it and give my approach and give me in that presentation. But like, if I had to somebody called me tomorrow and said, hey, we need 40 minutes on, we need a 40-minute presentation. We're speaking to men, we're speaking to young boys about the importance of fatherhood. Mm-hmm. I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need a presentation to do it. I feel it. You see me having these business meetings with myself. I'm literally
business meetings, yo.
Behaving.
I'd be like, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Not talking to me.
When I'm talking to you, there'll be an invite. There'll be a calendar notice when it's time to talk. But no, I'm trying to get the reps of when I have a thought, I try to develop it into how will I pull this thread in front of 50,000 people that are interested or disinterested in what I'm saying based on my ability to keep their attention. So
I see that.
We'll see.
I see that.
Do you think you want to, you said you want to help others. Yeah. Do you see yourself teaching and mentoring at some point?
I would love to. I would definitely
what does that
love
look like?
to. There's one, she's a designer. She's a creative on YouTube, and she has her own patterns for simplicity. And now, doing her thing, basically started off doing YouTube videos. Now she's like a vice president of the top 4 pattern companies. Like I would love to start off from where I am and grow it into wherever it is supposed to go in that type of way.
So do you think this is something that you should map out? Or do you just want it to happen? Oh.
No, I have it all mapped out at least until, that's why I was asking you earlier, like, do you already know what you want to do for Q1? Like, I got it written down. I try to get in my masterclass that I'm in. Yeah. I'm trying to keep everything like planned out a few months, at least a quarter or two in advance. Yeah. That's why it was kind of stressful. Like, me trying to plan out post for over a month because I want to have it. Like, I don't want to have to sit and think about it and make up things in my mind. Like, I would prefer to have it all done for me, but it's a lot trying to do 3 different IG pages, or what I mean? Like, it's a lot trying to.
And I couldn't understand it because the stretch for me was doing it for the week. So now, like this week, I already have them done. So I post Sunday through Friday, at least the pictorial, the picture quote or whatever, the picture phrase, podcast pops is my persona that I'm using to a lot to complement the message from the podcast. But I have it all planned out. So I'll do Sunday through Friday, and then Saturday, it's like a recap video of those quotes scrolling from the earlier week. But that was a challenge for me. For you wanted to do a month, and I couldn't.
So that I could actually, because there's things that I have to physically do with my hands too, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I need to free up this brain space. Shout out to HelloFresh. Thank you, because this is not sponsored, but that has freed up some that has freed up some mental space for me, like trying to meal plan for the week. I ain't got it.
So that's another thing that why I wanted to talk through this, and it's like I'm learning some things in this conversation about you, and I'm even more proud. But like, we think so differently. So my logic is not your logic, and neither is wrong. I know I struggle with that early. Like,
do it like me.
Just easier if you just. But that's me, and that's not productive. That's not something that you can repeat with ease because it's not true to.
It doesn't come
you
naturally
and how you work. So I think I guess let me finish the thought. The part of it was, I say, be on the same page early. 2 or B, whatever it is, just another point. Understand and try to accept your spouse's approach to how they create, how they develop ideas, how they work, their work style. And if it doesn't look like yours, either respect it from enough distance that allows them to be great, or try to learn something from it. I know that was
You
good.
ain't think I was planning out stuff, babe.
No, it just looks different.
It looks like chaos.
Keisha has a planning book.
Yes.
I hate writing stuff down.
Love
Everything
it.
for me is on my phone
Can't
because
do
I can
it.
go to my phone, my computer, my iPad.
Yeah, I play it.
Hey, my Apple products and everything is there. But Keisha likes to write stuff down and kind of like journal stuff.
Yes.
And that's what works.
Which is part of my Q1. Stay tuned.
So you asked me, did I have a Q1 goal? I don't have it defined. I have my 2022 goal, and I need to work backwards down to the week and actually to the day of how to achieve that goal. I want to have 2 top 100 podcasts in the parenting space.
Come on, can I have a?
This is one of them. So both of ours are categorized in parenting, and I want to have both of them in the top 100 in 2022.
Love that. I'm here for it. I co-sign that with manifesting, put it out there. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. What in the world is happening today?
Let's quickly let's kind of transition to some of the challenges.
Okay. Other than our communication styles
of working with this spouse. I mean, a couple of them came up, but we were intentionally trying to talk about the positive things, and the negative things came up as kind of like collateral conversation. Mm-hmm. But what are some things like, even if it's not still a problem, but some of the things that was like, and we had to get through it. So to help others.
One of the big things is, and you've already asked for grace for this, so I'm trying to give you grace, is not responding when I say something. It'll be like, bro, you ain't hear me. See? Or you'll just keep working and whatever it is you're doing. I'm like, okay, well, maybe just go.
Yeah. So that's part of understanding and respecting each other's work style, because if I'm in the middle of something, like a thought, because it may not look like I'm doing something, but I'll be very focused on processing something or either reading something, and Keisha walks in and starts talking, and it's important to her at the time, and it's supposed to be immediately important to me, and I'm just like, I don't even know what you're saying right now, but that's different styles that we work. Right. So we gotta, we probably still we don't have the perfect answer for that right now. We definitely got to still work for that, but it's something that we're aware of, right?
I have learned that the slow look up to me means I can't right now. So I just walk away. I've learned.
I think part of the challenge is Keisha has already started planning the conversation. The conversation is carrying on in her head as she's walking toward me. And then when she gets to me,
I'm excited about the conversation.
I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What are some other go ahead.
I feel like it's one that you're gonna say, like, what's important to each of us are important at different times. That can be challenging as well.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say that, but that's true. The other part is not necessarily have anything to do with your spouse, but entrepreneurship is hard.
It's hard, and it can be disconcerting sometimes, like where it'll be a month and stuff ain't happening, child. You like that?
If you knew, there's always that one word.
I passed the PSATs. Stop.
And then it's normally followed up by, I don't know. Past that, can you fail it? You just get a score. I don't know.
I think you can fail it.
It's just an assessment of where you are.
I mean, but if your score sucks, that's kind of like failing.
All right.
Anyway, carry on.
Nah, it's hard. It's not for everybody. It sounds cool, and it looks even crazier when you're successful corporately.
Nope, that's not a word.
Could be an adjective, ly. Depends on how you use it. Anyway, when you have perceived or real success in the corporate space, and it's like, how do you walk away from that? Mm-hmm. How do you teach your family out of a better life and more fulfilling life if that's what entrepreneurship will yield you? Again, it's not for everybody. So.
Right.
Because it's hard, it can create difficulties in your marriage, especially if you're trying to pursue it together and there are different things under your business umbrella that you're trying to pursue. Because then it becomes, okay, who do we invest in now? Who do we invest in later? By not investing in me or not investing in you, what does that actually mean something, or is it just the most logical thing? There's a lot of things to agree on.
Do you feel like it's also hard to acknowledge who has ownership of what at what time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't plan it out, and that's kind of the danger, as we were talking about earlier, just kind of doing it and then forming a business around it. At some point, you got to have that conversation. Like, we have an operating agreement for our business. It says who's what. It says what the ownership is. So I can't get over on her. She can't get over on me. But that's what the business needed. But it wasn't a struggle for us. It was just structure. It wasn't a debate to do it for our business. And honestly, sometimes like we care differently about things.
Yeah.
Like the paperwork and the structure and the formation, the entity and all of that. Yeah, that's me.
Aesthetics is me.
Yeah. Right. So
I find myself saying our apparel, even though that was your baby, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, all right, am I taking too much in this space, you know?
And I'm thinking, I wish you would take some more.
Okay, well, see,
right.
That's what.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why these conversations.
Like, I don't want to step on your toes. Like, I know this is your thing.
Yeah. And I'm normally the one stepping on toes. So I am more intentional about, like I said earlier, giving you your space, letting it develop. Mm-hmm. If you ask me to take a picture, I'll take a picture.
Thank you.
I'm not going to tell you how to take the picture, but
I would like some guidance in that. That's another thing.
There you go.
That's another thing. We could do a video shoot. And I'm like, all right, is this good? No. Yeah. You're not the director, though. I don't feel like you are good with me at giving direction.
I think that's the caveat.
Yeah.
Because we think about things so differently. And it's like you'll ask my opinion for something and I'll tell you, and then you say, but don't you think I should do it?
We talked about this last one.
I'm like, well, I mean, I told you what I thought, but
let's try it both ways.
Yeah, so we're still trying to find a balance, people.
Yeah, balance is a construct. They be lying.
Said balance is a construct.
It sure is. Is there really a such thing?
No.
Right. No. Exactly.
So maybe we shouldn't be trying to find a balance.
No, we should not be trying to find a balance. We should be trying to figure out what works for us, and it may be imbalanced at sometimes. Yeah, something's gonna suffer.
I think we need to find a balance between
what?
Not the true balance, but the balance between it'll all work out
me
and a structured approach. Mm-hmm. You're more on the.
I have a plan, and I am mostly confident that it will all work out. But leaning on the plans, I don't know. It's like a weird thing. Like I want to be free to move within.
You're more flowy.
The space.
That's the difference.
I'm gonna write it down.
A major difference between us. You're more flowy with it, and I'm like
more rigid.
Let's not leave this to chance, right? And that's not necessarily what you're doing, but just different ways that we approach it. But we don't want to get too long-winded on this topic. The purpose of these discussions that we have for you guys on YouTube and on your podcast listening platform is to facilitate further discussion in your house, in your relationship, or even just in your mind. Think about things. And again, it's what we've been through, what we're going through, or things that we see in the future that we think are worth sharing. And hopefully it helps. Yeah, at least a couple. Folks.
What's going to be extra interesting is the babies are now ready to start their journeys, and trying to fit that in. It's not about balance, but it's about trying to fit it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And making sure that we do right by them.
Yeah.
We've never sensationalized our kids on the platform.
I've been more standoffish too. Like, you should put this kid in this, and you should. I'm like, creepers.
Yeah. I mean, and that was an approach that made some people successful, but that has different impacts on different families. And I want to make sure that we're responsible. And I actually, a pretty well known, our viewers will probably know this influencer that I've been working with and has agreed to do my podcast. I want to talk to him about how he's navigating that space with this as the leader of his family, as the husband head of his family, and he has boys, right?
Are they interested in getting into the space
they're an IG persona.
Okay.
I mean, they're part of brand deals. Like their family is a brand.
Okay.
So I just part of what I want to talk to him about is how do they navigate that space to protect their children and still let them, be creative and all of that.
Yeah.
So
that's in my 2022 as well. We discussed a little bit more about that, like doing more or trying to pursue the sponsorships and things like that.
Okay.
Would be great.
Well, I think this makes an episode. Check out our merch. We don't say enough about it.
Stop saying merch.
Check out our clothing, our family lifestyle brand, right? Johns & Co. Apparel. You can find it at www. Did you see that joke?
No.
Oh, man. It was I don't know where it was. It was like, why do people still say www?
Yeah, we all know this.
World Wide Web. It's johnsandcompany.co.
Yeah.
JOHNS and company.co. A much easier way to remember it is Healthy Marriage is Dope. We'll also take you there at the moment. johnsandcompany.co will always take you there. I think we may need to use Healthy Marriage is Dope to hone in on the community around the podcast. Healthy Marriage is Dope is our IG. All of it is linked below. Supporting our sponsors helps us. We are very, very independent. We try to bring you quality topics and content. We try to make it look good. Some look better than others, but we're trying to create a style and a pleasurable viewing. Oh, acknowledge that. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me with pleasurable viewing experience and listening experience. So check us out. We always shout out our guests, what they have going on. Oh, we have a professional joining the podcast, licensed marriage and family therapist. She said yes.
Oh,
you don't be checking your email. You copied on the email.
You told me check. When did the email come through, sir?
A couple days ago.
I missed
and
that.
I responded. So
I missed that.
Again, part of our dynamic.
See, it's digital. All you had to do was put a Post-it on my door.
Write it down and tape it in your notebook.
Yes, please.
But yeah, she said yes. So she's going to help guide some conversations. So hopefully you're hearing this before that. If you're hearing in closer to real time, it'll be in a couple weeks.
So is it in-house or virtual?
It'll be virtual.
Okay.
But, she'll be able to dig in, help us with some tools around some conversations. So we need to put up a poll or
Q&A. We need to do a live
request
together.
Request for questions that you would want to ask in licensed marriage and family therapist, LMFT. We're providing that as a service to our community to bring greater value to these conversations.
That's exciting. You just gonna skim over the part that we need to do a live.
No. I actually don't mind. I've done a few lives.
I've only seen the one. Oh.
Yeah. It's not that everybody joined it, but it's
we ain't know. You ain't alive. Listen, you ain't tell me it was coming.
I just went on. Yeah, I just went on.
You gotta let me know.
So anything else that you want to offer the people, I have a nature appointment.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it's just a light nature.
Too much.
Light nature.
Way too much.
Light nature appointment.
No, we appreciate you guys.
That's it.
That's all I got.
God bless you.
I'm talking true happiness, like sitting in grass fields watching sunsets. You on my arms, yeah, you by my side. Do you remember your vows? The warmth and the truth in your smile. That's what I live for. Love gave us a voice. We made it through storm.
The Healthy Marriage is Dope podcast is produced by D. John's Live Studios. All rights reserved.
Words to my writer's block. My commitment to you means more than my right to stop. So when bad thoughts tap my mind, I'ma just fight them off. Let God get his praise. This art that we make. Soulmates with silhouettes in the shade. He painted our features with colors. More than a photograph in a frame. Let's fly to the sun. Yeah, let's go to the flames. Hey, yo,
you sickness and health, riches and broke.
Yeah, healthy marriage is dope. Let's work in our dreams, let's heal through our growth. Yeah, healthy marriage is dope. Yeah, all that I learned, all that I know, turn the house